Right, kid.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमान।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, वेलकम टू अनदर एपिसोड ऑफ द पाकिस्तान पर्सपेक्टिव। आज हमारे साथ एक दफ़ा फिर मौजूद हैं डॉक्टर सुहेब। आइए बात करते हैं। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम सलाम।
आप एक दफ़ा पहले भी इस्टेब्लिश कर चुके हैं कि आपको डॉक्टर से एक वसी व दरीज़ इख्तलाफ है, तो एक्सक्यूज मी फॉर दिस फॉर कॉलिंग यू डॉक्टर अगेन।
बट ऑल्सो बिकॉज वो तो खैर डॉक्टर साहब से था, लेकिन मोर जनरली आई थिंक आई एम नॉट हियर एज एन एक्सपर्ट, सो दैट मेरा असल इतराज हुआ। आई एम नॉट हियर एज अ डॉक्टर इन मोस्ट ऑफ दीज एपिसोड्स, सो वो दैट्स आल्सो वन।
जो है मैं जब लास्ट ईयर आई वेंट टू कराची एंड मुझे मैं व्हेन आई वाज younger I used to go to Karachi every year because half of my family lived there. अब मुझे याद है जब रात को हमने नेक्स्ट डे कराची जाना होता था ना, तो मुझे रात को नींद नहीं आती थी। मुझे इतनी खुशी होती थी कि टुमारो आई एम गोइंग टू कराची। हम लोग हर साल में एक दफ़ा जाया करते थे और वो जो एक एक्साइटमेंट थी, वो एक फीलिंग थी। अब मैं कहीं मुल्क से बाहर भी चला जाऊँ, दुबई, जर्मनी, यूरोप, कहीं भी चला जाऊँ, वो फीलिंग नहीं आती। And I believe that it happens to the best of us. A lot of people that I talk to in their 30s, in their 40s, 50s, they crave for the time that they used to have. And I think that it should not be like this. Life should not be lived in the past. Life should be lived in the future. वैसे तो life should be lived in the present moment. इससे बेहतर तो कुछ भी नहीं। लेकिन to live in the past and to think and to reminisce of the time that you used to have, for everyone it's different. कुछ लोगों के लिए कभी आप ईद के टाइम पे अपनी फैमिली से जब मिलते थे तो वो wonderful time it used to be. हमारे लिए I remember जब लाहौर में बसंत हुआ करती थी, तो बसंत की नाइट को और पतंगबाजी होती थी और सुबह 4-5 बजे तक हम सोते नहीं थे, हम लोग पतंगबाजी करते थे और 5 बजे सोते थे, वो भी घर वालों के कहने पे, और 7 बजे फिर वापस आ जाते थे सुबह कि जी ये बसंत है।
बड़ा मजा आता है और
इतना
रिलेट विद दैट ना,
इतना मजा आता था और इतना अच्छा, यू डिड नॉट वांट टू स्लीप। अभी तो 12 बज जाए तो यू आर लाइक शिट, आई वांट टू स्लीप।
ऑफ कोर्स that's the earliest sign of getting old.
Yes, it is. But
if you want to sleep timely,
I wish and I hope that I could feel what I used to feel. मुझे याद है मैं 2004 में पहली दफ़ा दुबई गया था और 2004 में it was I think second or third time that I went out of the country and I saw those buildings and I was mesmerized. It was beautiful. It was a concrete jungle. It still is. It's much more of a concrete jungle now, but back then I loved it. The fact that I was going out of the country, the fact that I was meeting and seeing at least all these people from different ethnicities, blacks, whites, yellows, browns, all of those in the same place, and they spoke all those different languages. I loved it. And big, huge buildings. I remember we went to the city center, वहाँ का सबसे top mall, and we would get
what
lost.
is it called? Is it a popular?
अब तो वो है दुबई मॉल है।
Yeah, at that point was like
वो था सिटी सेंटर, बुर दुबई, पता नहीं कहाँ। खैर वो बड़ा खूबसूरत था। तो the point being, इतनी लंबी तमहीद बांधने का मकसद ये है
what's the point?
कि can we have that fun again as we grow older?
No.
I would say, okay guys, thank you very much. It was great talking to you today.
But like I like to be concise. So like definitely not. अच्छा वो जो बात है कि हम ये बात सही है कि like so many of us, if not almost all of us, like in this age bracket, are nostalgic about like वो मेरा ख्याल है technical मजबूरी है, and I think you cannot like easily work around that, क्योंकि मेरे ख्याल है सारा जो आप डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं, like I'm glad that you had fun, that kind of
No,
fun.
I did not have that much fun. I think I'm just romanticizing about that. I don't. I mean, I did have fun, but the
Okay.
problem is I'm not having that fun. That feeling is gone. Like
Yeah.
And I want to have that feeling. It was beautiful.
Yeah, so मैं कहने लगा था कि वो मेरा ख्याल है that those kind of experiences are objectively intense, and that's something that paves way for nostalgia. Nostalgia, I say, it's not coming from some kind of laziness, like lack of understanding about how life should be or is. कि आप खाम खा romantic हो रहे हैं about how things used to be. I think that's not what it is. I think जो earlier life में जो the kind of joy that you experience and that the kind of joy you've mentioned, I think that's objectively a particularly intense form of joy that gets more and more difficult as you grow up. How would you not miss something if you've stopped having, if you've stopped feeling like that, and it was like particularly an intense feeling. कैसे हो सकता है कि आप ही इसको romanticize ना करो, आपको
But
याद
why
ना
don't we have that feeling anymore?
one word, novelty. So जो basically जो हमारे minds are, they're wired to particularly appreciate novelty, and that's the very that's the cornerstone of how our mind works. So sorry if I'm making this more boring, but लेकिन ये कि basically जो that's how our mind works. That's how we've learned languages. That's how we know most things we know. कि जब when we were small, तब हमें तो बड़े आराम से रजिस्टर करते थे, ओ ये क्या है, ये तो मैंने पहले नहीं देखा, ओ ये क्या है, ये उससे डिफरेंट है. So that kind of the novelty na, that makes a kid quickly register things and like learn and all. तो वो fundamental उसका novelty. It's not a novelty थी in everything that we were doing. जब किसी like के घर मेहमान गए हुए हैं तो that's novel. कि हम तो हर वक्त घर पे होते हैं, ये तो this is a different thing, हम किसी और के घर भी जा सकते हैं. It's a novel experience until like a kid figures out कि अच्छा ये तो like ये तो हर हफ्ते जा रहे होते हैं या हर महीने जा रहे होते हैं. I don't like that anymore. There's nothing novel or unique about doing that. So as we grow older, less and less things are fundamentally novel. Of course, so much life में continues being novel. यानी कि अगर अभी फर्स्ट करो हम इस वक्त like नॉर्थ पोल पे चले जाएं, that's as novel as it gets, isn't it?
समझ आएगा उतना?
नहीं आएगा ना, उतना नहीं आ सकता ना, क्योंकि अब वो फंडामेंटली नॉवल नहीं है ना. तो जैसे बचपन में चीजें फंडामेंटली नॉवल होती हैं, यानी कि अभी हम नॉर्थ पोल जाएंगे, वो नई जगह है, लेकिन द होल आइडिया ऑफ कि आप किसी ऐसी जगह गए हो जो कि आपका मुल्क नहीं है, एंड इट्स वेरी मच अनलाइक व्हाट यू यूज्ड टू, वो उस लेवल पे इट्स नॉट नॉवल एनीमोर. सो आपने लाइफ में इतनी सारी चीजें ऐसे एक्सपीरियंस कर ली हैं जो कि व्हिच वर like so different from आपकी जो basic reality है. तो fundamentally less and less things novel. So I think as people grow up, जो उनकी लाइफ की सबसे बड़ी novelties रह जाती हैं, like if someone is in the 30s और उनकी शादी हुई है a while ago, I think when they have their first kid, I think इस age bracket में that is something that is fundamentally novel. That's something this most likely is जिसका कोई उनके लिए लाइफ से पैरेलल नहीं होगा. लेकिन अब ये इफ आई आस्क यू कि इस तरह की और कोई एग्जांपल्स ध्यान में आती हैं कि जो इस एज में इतना बड़ा नॉवल एक्सपीरियंस हो जो आपको, आई थिंक मोस्ट पीपल विल स्ट्रगल. कैन यू कम अप विद समथिंग?
I can talk about my experience when I became a father. I can certainly talk about it. So I had heard and I had seen that when you hold your baby for the first time ever, it is the most beautiful of feelings and that you've never had it before, and people really,
सही है, बात नहीं बनी.
I think that that's not the case. I think for
That's
women
not the case.
it's not the case.
इतनी ऐसी intense feeling नहीं होती.
No, because I believe that for women it may be like that, but for men, because they don't go through that whole process of childbearing, which the woman does, so it's different. So you hold a baby, and you've had babies before by this age. You've held your sister's babies, your brother's babies, your cousin's babies. So you've held a lot of babies, and they're beautiful, of course.
If you have, so like, not everyone has that kind of experience.
Oh, I would think that many people would have that experience.
Many, of course, many would, like, but not all of us.
Well, if you're the first sibling, then maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe all the other siblings are younger than you. So what I wanted to say was,
No,
that
if the last sibling, then particularly not.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
तो फिर it's also कि अगर आप लास्ट सिबलिंग हो तो फिर could it be कि you'd be really excited mother or father because like you haven't had that kind of वो
If you're the first sibling.
नहीं अगर आप लास्ट सिबलिंग हो तो आपके लिए
हाँ.
बहुत novel है the experience of like
Hmm.
anyway okay so but it wasn't so novel for you.
I mean,
That's what
it
you're
was
saying.
certainly novel as I held my
Yeah, but
baby
not
for the first
let's
time.
say let's
It
let's say
wasn't. I
not
was overjoyed.
not fundamentally novel part.
I was
Like you've had uh, okay
However,
okay
ever since that day, I believe that my bond with that baby has improved with every passing day. And now, when we speak of it, that bond has become the strongest that it has been with anyone else. So, as you protect and care for your baby, it becomes and continues to become the most loving aspect of your life. And by 3 or 4 years, that is the crown jewel of your happiness. So, in
this
that
thing
case,
I think there are a lot of parallels we can draw from what you just said if you allow me to.
Please do.
So I think so this is what it is ना कि happiness is joy की बहुत सारी brands हैं और जो मेरे ख्याल है जो सबसे most straightforward most rewarding brand है वो novel experiences है but that's not the only one. So as a kid most of our like I would say excitement और जो वो सब है वो that would come from novelty not entirely though. So but there are other forms like अब जैसे this whole thing that you've talked about इसमें like you have like this kind of deep bond with your son which is wonderful. Like it happened gradually it's more sustained it's spread over like years but this is like antithetical to वो जो idea novelty का novelty वाला तो एक है ना acutely
Yes.
there's just like joy peaks and like it goes away which is like respectable and desirable I would say. But this is like a different form of happiness. It also feels different, right? It feels more like satisfaction and like.
I will tell you one more thing though.
Yeah.
And I've thought about this, but I've not shared it on camera as of yet. So this is the first time.
This is the first time I'll get to know about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's fun. See, that's to have fun.
You just have to tell them that it's fun.
Okay.
So, speaking of children and how they become important parts of your life, I believe that take for example, there is this castle, and there's a room in this castle, and you're allowed to enter that room every day, only once.
I like thought experiments.
And when you go there, there are stones lying all about, and you have to pick one stone up, and you have to put it in its place. And every day, every single day, you go there and you put another stone, and another, and then you sculpt a sculpture. I think child rearing is similar to that because you put so much effort into making that person what you are going to make him, that your effort, your time, you give them everything that you have, and in so doing you instill love into them because that really it becomes your baby in a way.
That sounds wonderful.
So I think that you would love that sculptor also very much, that you made every single day you put in a little bit
That
more,
makes
a little
sense.
bit.
Lekin, let's say you were probably trying to describe how it feels. um, like taking care of her baby and like लेकिन अब ये जो आपने डिस्क्रिप्शन दी है makes me think this is the kind of passion I see in creators more generally as well, like things that they put in their efforts into, especially something that they've created over a span of like over longer spans. That's the kind of I, have you seen that like artists may and wo like generally logo में के if they've been working on a project or creation, they talk about it with that same kind
Yes,
of passion
yes.
that you are right now.
Yes, yes, I have.
Okay, so like actually, if we extrapolate, so that this is yet another brand of happiness. So where it's going. So
Absolutely. So now we've come up with two brands of happiness: novelty and years and years of hard work.
yeah, creation,
Creation.
the passion to create.
And I
something.
think a lot of business people talk about their businesses like that as well. They've said that it's like their baby, and they've helped to make it grow, and they've built it to the point that they have built.
Seeing how I think beavers like build dams, like if it's like since we imagine they're not particularly complex beings with like that kind of complex thinking that we have. So I think one thing we can extrapolate from that is that should creation be एक fundamental level पे it's a thing biological level पे we're tuned to जैसे novelty के बारे में तो मेरा बेसिक thesis यही था ना novelty तो वो it's the fundamental of like of existence अगर novelty के लिए हमें हमारे अंदर वो ना होता we wouldn't be humans or like not even like reasonable animals even but इतनी fundamental है novelty के around the pleasure है I'm thinking कि वो this around constructing things and making things, I think that's also a very fundamental. Like you see sparrows, birds generally building their nest. I would imagine कि अगर वो बहुत joy feel कर सकते हैं तो उनके लिए वो
उनके लिए काफी
joy
joyful
so. Also nest में वो connotations भी हैं वो सारे फिर वो nurturing वाली है and all.
अच्छा लेकिन अब हम fun के बारे में बात कर रहे थे that we don't have that much fun now that we used to have. I want to know if that's the same for everyone, and I think that we've established that it is sort of.
Probably.
So, for example, songs. I have not enjoyed off camera हम बात कर रहे थे that now on weddings when I play the popular game Antakshari, when I sing the same songs, exact same songs that I used to sing when I used to play it 20 years ago. And that is not cool.
Not cool?
That is not cool. Because
not fun.
Not fun, not cool, not novel. Because that means that I have musically not grown in the last 20 years. अभी हम कहीं बैठते हैं तो वही I don't remember the last time that I listened to a song which was new and I loved it so much that I listened to it over and over again. Like in the past 10 years, I think I've done it once or twice. But that's the thing.
I do remember you once posted a video on Facebook.
Yes, I did. It was a braided guy.
He claimed that the only music that you'll ever love or any friends like you'll ever be deeply friends with are the ones you made before entering your 30s. That's probably what you're saying.
Yes. So new friends, new music, new experiences. I think we've lived them all by the time that we're 30. And it shouldn't be like that. Because I like to believe that I only lived half of my life, and then the other half, and then this is the part where I am more in control of my life, and that in this part I would like to enjoy more.
I think there can be another explanation for all of this, what we're talking today. Expectations, I would say. But as a kid, you're not expecting anything from life. You don't even know what life is.
Yeah.
It's anything that comes your way. If it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
like it's different like as you grow up like you compulsively whenever like you're experiencing something nice and to end
But
up drawing comparisons because
अभी मुझे एक और ख्याल आया कि इवन दो कि मैं हंसता कम हूँ लेकिन मैं रोता भी कम हूँ
what does that mean?
कि बचपन में मुझे याद है कि हम हंसते ज्यादा थे लेकिन रोते भी बहुत ज्यादा थे एक छोटी सी चोट लग गई तो रोना शुरू कर दिया
Okay.
अब ऐसा नहीं होता
Okay, I don't know what to say to that. Other than I'm glad okay, you don't have to.
इसका ये मतलब है
हाँ,
कि हम अपने इमोशंस से we are less in tune with our emotions. In the beginning of our lives, we would laugh when we're happy, we would cry when we're sad. But now we don't laugh as much, we don't cry as much.
मतलब उसका साइंटिफिक पर्सपेक्टिव से तो उसका वो एक ही भी एंगल होता है ना कि जो जैसे हम बड़े हो रहे होते हैं हमारी लैंग्वेज इंप्रूव कर रही होती है और हमारा चलना हमारे मोटर स्किल्स इंप्रूव कर रहे होते हैं तो जो हमारी कुछ फंडामेंटल चीज़ें जो बेहतर होती हैं एज वी एज तो उनमें से एक चीज़ इमोशनल रेगुलेशन है यानी कि आपको जो इमोशन आता है वो कितनी जल्दी आप उसको ओवरकम कर सकते हो या उसके उस पर आप एक्ट आउट नहीं करते और जो उसको एक्सटर्नलाइज नहीं करते So I think that's a fundamental part of growing older, and I think it's not that
अपने जेंडर रोल्स में भी तो ज्यादा आ जाते हैं जब बड़े होते हैं बचपन में अपने जेंडर रोल्स में भी नहीं होते
कि हाँ for men that's one additional reason yeah लेकिन like more fundamentally also कि as you're growing older it's not necessarily that you're less in touch with your emotions of course that could be a part of it could be there as well लेकिन mostly that you're actually experiencing those very emotions less often less intensely क्योंकि ये भी हमारे माइंड का ये भी गोल होता है कोई when an intense emotion comes up माइंड का गोल्स में एक गोल होता है कि you have to figure out कि ये किस चीज़ से इमोशन आया उसको फिक्स करो और एक गोल होता है to actually overcome that emotion as well emotions can be overwhelming तो like as we grow older तो it's more successful around that तो खैर anyway थोड़ी सी डाइवर्शन होगी लेकिन ये कि बेसिक आइडिया था कि I wouldn't say कि we're less in touch with our emotions I think we're just experiencing those less and we're regulating them better that plays in our favor and I'm wondering if that is one thing that makes us less excited about things
do you think that it's the same for everyone as they grow older
of course not इंसान के बारे में तो शायद दो चार चीज़ों के हम कह ही नहीं सकते कि ये this is the same for everyone apart from that maybe all of us have a working brain or maybe a heart
do you meet different for everyone do you meet old people
do I meet old people
often do they tell you stories because when I meet old people and they tell me stories
that's what they do
they tell me stories of the past of the time that they lived
that's what
and
they do.
it makes me sad because I will be that old one day and then I will only have stories of my past to tell that's not the sort of life that I want to live that tells me that they lived once but they don't live anymore if they have nothing to look forward to then there's that's why they tell me stories of the time that they used to live
I think
I wanted to make it funny this episode but you know it became more melancholic than I could have made it.
हाँ ये तो मैंने कहा था ना ऑफ कैमरा ये मैंने कहा था कि this can be the most serious topic ever now you agree right
It's very sad happiness talking about happiness can be quite sad
it can never not be sad talking about happiness not at all जैसे मैं कहा था ना कि most hedonists are like nihilists to begin with like it's a slippery slope like that अच्छा
what is your opinion
about what you said I have something to say so Carl Sagan जो है ना अल्लाह बख्शे उसका या उनका ये आइडिया था कि humans have a like a deep मैं exact words याद नहीं है लेकिन जो आइडिया they have a deep seated itch for things remote और like basic उसका आइडिया था कि हम यानी explorers हैं like we have basic हमारे deep rooted there's this romance for ये चीज़ें दूर है, हमारी रीच से दूर है। लाइक अगर अभी मैं यहाँ से गाड़ी पकड़ के जा सकता हूँ नहर पाकिस्तान तक तो ओके, नॉट एज रोमांटिक। लेकिन अगर व्हेन आई लुक एट मार्स एंड आई नो दैट्स समवेयर आई कैन नॉट बी, हाँ, तो there's this deep sense of like the deep yearning के यहाँ तो जाना है। And so Carl Sagan ने इसमें बहुत बिल्ड किया आइडिया पे, ये इट्स नॉट जस्ट अ कोट दैट ही सेड वंस, लाइक उसके बहुत सारे आइडियाज इवॉल्व करते हैं इसके अराउंड। सो आई थिंक आई हैव गॉट दिस इनटू दिस लाइक एपिसोड, दिस आइडिया इट एक्सप्लेन्स समथिंग। सो आप बूढ़े होते हैं एज यू ग्रोइंग ओल्डर, द मोस्ट रिमोट थिंग टू यू इज लाइक जो आपकी अर्ली लाइफ है, and वो it's weirdly, so it's like Mars for you now, like it's, even though it's is your very own life, it has been your own reality at some point, but now it's the most remote and most real thing that you can ever imagine. और इसी तरह I think it goes both way, बच्चे होते हैं और when they're growing up, I think so many of them are imagining their remote futures, जिसमें they're like imagining like a life that's really good or they've achieved so much.
ढोल सुहाने लगते हैं उर्दू में। काल सेगन ने उर्दू में तो नहीं कहा होगा,
I
लेकिन
wouldn't say that. मैं ढूल के ढोल सुहाने लगते हैं कि that has negative connotation ना, ये भी हुआ है। So like because काल सेगन वाले
grass
perspective
is
को हम
greener
करें।
on the other side, इसकी
हाँ,
भी negative
ये भी
connotation
negative
होता है।
connotation। लेकिन जो what I'm saying is like it's ये इसकी मतलब वो है
There is an itch, there is a yearning. This is more poetic.
for all things remote.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
that's beautiful.
और वो तो he would say, and of course I would say that as well, कि that is what makes us what we are. But अब जैसे बहुत सारी आज ह्यूमन जो हमारी प्रोग्रेस है वो इट्स born out of genuine need ना, कि मसलन कि हमें वाकई जरूरत थी कोई ऐसी चीज हो जिसको घोड़े से तेज चलती हो, उसमें घास ना खिलानी पड़ती हो ना, तो सो लेकिन so much else जो कि we have done वो बस इसी इच के पीछे था कि कोई कई ऐसी चीजें जिनकी हमें जरूरत भी नहीं थी, लेकिन मैं था कि ये क्या होता है, ये हमें चेक करना है या यहाँ जाके देखना है, यहाँ
For all of art, I suppose, paintings, music,
absolutely.
dance, none of it we don't need, but we enjoy.
So all of that is built from that's very romance जो कि हमें जो older लोगों में नजर आता है. I think it's a good thing.
तो हम खुश नहीं हो सकते, पॉइंट ये है।
क्यों नहीं खुश हो सकते? तो अब वो जो एक बूढ़ा आदमी अगर आपको अपने बचपन की स्टोरी सुना रहा है, तो हो सकता है आपके ज़हन में सबसे पहली चीज़ ये जाए ना कि they've been nostalgic and like they're yearning that time, which of course they must be, yeah, quite often. लेकिन I would say कि most people when they're stating those stories, मेरा ख्याल है कि अगर आप आंखों में देखें तो you'll see joy and pleasure like in them actually narrating, तो है ना, तो बस वो उनकी खुशी, अगर वो उनको सुना के खुशी मिल रही है तो भी है। So that's fundamentally different from जो basic yearning है ना। Basic yearning में तो there's more pain and sadness around something good that happened. I think let's call it happy nostalgia. लाजवाब हो गया।
वही बात है, living in the past that means you have nothing to look forward to in the future. I would not wish it for myself, and by extension I would not wish it for anyone else I know.
No, but living in the past उस तरह से तो what you're saying right now, that's a different thing ना। जब usually हम किसी को बारे में ये कह रहे होते हैं, उस पर इल्जाम लगा रहे होते हैं कि like you're living in the past. What we're referring to is a different thing. What we're referring to is कि ये बंदा, more generally speaking, that's all they're about now. They're all about nostalgia. That's something they're spending the entire time with. But then there are many other people that we see वो उनका nostalgia is more of a sport. They do it, they have fun, they love it, and they come out of it. तो उस तरह से तो सही है।
I will allow it then if you say.
As a sport, है?
As a sport, yeah, sure, maybe. Go ahead.
I think मेरा ख्याल है इसकी ना कुछ अखलाकियात establish करनी चाहिए nostalgia की ना, कि what are the kind of things जो nostalgia में अच्छी हैं, क्योंकि अब जाहिर बात है लाइक आई हैव सीन पीपल जो नॉस्टैल्जिया को सिंक वो एक उसमें डाल देते हैं कि यार नॉट गुड मतलब जैसे दिस इज वन थिंग दैट वी हैव आई थिंक सेटल्ड ऑन सो फार कि if you do it as a sport it's a place you go to and a place you come out of अच्छा है दूसरी एक हमने बात की थी कि अगर when you're being nostalgic it's pleasurable not in a masochistic way like आपको दर्द हो रहा है और मजा आ रहा है वो वाला नहीं खैर उसमें भी क्या मसला है तो खैर नहीं लेकिन एक बेसिकली लाइक आप कुछ रिकॉल कर रहे हैं समथिंग जॉयस दैट हैपन एंड दैट ब्रिंग्स यू जॉय आई थिंक ये भी एक अखलाकियात होना चाहिए कि नॉस्टैल्जिया के अखलाकियात में दिस इज लाइक अलाउड एंड दिस इज कंसीडर्ड टू बी गुड तीसरी जो है अब यहाँ पे बात करते तो मैं think ये थोड़ी ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट हुआ है कि इन बीइंग नॉस्टैल्जिक यू डोंट dismiss or invalidate or devalue the present times I think that will be a fundamental work because I think this is a line I think most people end up crossing and which I think is a problem कि अगर फर्स्ट आपको ओके उस दौर में गाने बनते थे आज तो नहीं बनते आज के लोगों को म्यूजिक का क्या पता
ये कहते हैं ना लोग
तो आई थिंक that's a problem so
ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗਾਣੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਨ ਉਹ ਹੁਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ
ਜੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹੀਆਂ
ਹੁਣ ਉਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹੀਆਂ
ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ
ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਪਤਾ
ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ
ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ
I think this is the line so like nostalgia generally speaking I think let's not like nostalgia is वो सी टेरिटरी का कॉन्सेप्ट है जिस टेरिटरी में लव आता है उस किस्म की जो ऐसी चीजें आती हैं which
not the romance with the beloved but romance of times of the past of nostalgia
and also love in the more basic sense में so nostalgia में it's a beautiful emotion it's not just underplayed लेकिन ये क्या कुछ अखलाक है उसको establish कर लें तो फिर वैसे that's important
nostalgia is beautiful but it is also painful
अच्छा so of course by definition तो that's what nostalgia means ना and of course अब जब हम nostalgia का word use कर रहे हैं तो we're not necessarily using in those words ना तो पहले हो सकता है किसी पॉइंट पर nostalgia का वर्ड बहुत स्पेसिफिकली उस एक्सपीरियंस के लिए यूज होता था कि जब you're recalling some past moments and you're yearning it deeply and आप पेन में हो तो वो of course now when we say nostalgia that's not what we're universally referring to ना we're using it more broadly हाँ तो वो वाला nostalgia of course that's painful also is love that's good maybe so probably
so क्या establish किया हमने आज
तभी हमने ये
can we
किया
be happy can we feel the same happiness that we used to feel before or not
so बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स सब्जेक्ट था और हमने मेरे ख्याल हमने इसको किसी कंक्लूजन पे लेकर आए हैं लेकिन that's how it was supposed to be तो I think अगर एक लाइनर कंक्लूजन जो हमने बात की उसकी वही होगी कि हैप्पीनेस जॉय it's a heterogeneous idea and उसके इतने angles हैं like multiple way aspects of us feeling pleasure enjoying life जो बचपन में था वो it's a different brand जो acute है जो different way
recently I met this guy and he told me that मैंने उसको बताया I watched this movie and he was like I only watch movies which are funny because I want to have fun and my take on it was that saying that I only watch movies which are funny and I want to only have fun is like saying that from all the palette of flavors available to me, I choose sweet or sour or any one flavor. But the combination of those flavors, the complete palette is what makes it so enjoyable. And I believe that you should watch all genres of music, of movies.
Is that everything? Of course, I'm with your guy.
What do you think about this?
सबसे पहले तो क्विक कमेंट मेरा ख्याल है व्हेन यू आस्क समवन ना कि एक बंदा है जो एक्शन मूवीज देखता है और लाइक दैट्स ऑल दैट पर्सन वॉचेस आपसे पूछे आप क्यों देखते हो तो आई थिंक मोस्ट पीपल डू हैव दिस एक्सेप्शनल स्किल ऑफ कमिंग अप विद रीजंस फॉर व्हाई दे डू व्हाट दे डू लाइक मैं एक्शन मूवी में देखता हूँ क्योंकि लाइफ जो है ना हमने वैसे भी कितनी इसमें हम सुस्ती से हम गुजार होते हैं ना तो कुछ तो एनर्जी कहीं से तो आनी चाहिए but that's not what why they're watching that movie na so they're watching it because like it resonates with like but it's fundamentally fun to them and what's fun to someone is not मच ओपन टू जो इंटेलेक्चुअल
Debate.
या जो कॉग्निटिव वो कि हम उस पर बात नहीं कर सकते, वो जो फन है, ये टेस्ट अच्छा लगता है, ये अच्छा लगता है, ये आप उससे पूछेंगे तो फिर दिल कम अप विद लाइक एन एक्सप्लेनेशन। उसका नुकसान ये होता है कि जो सुनने वाला है उसको ये लगता है कि सिंस दिस इंटरेस्ट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम एन आइडिया, जैसे वो मीठे वाली बात है, ये नहीं वो सॉरी कि मैं फनी मूवी देखता हूँ बिकॉज आई वांट टू हैव फन, तो सुनने वाले को लगता है कि सिंस ये फनी मूवी जो देख रहा है इट्स कमिंग फ्रॉम एन आइडिया, तो आपको लगता है कि नाउ यू कैन एक्चुअली चैलेंज हिम, बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन ऑलवेज चैलेंज आइडिया, राइट? बट दैट्स नॉट व्हाट इट इज। वो तो उसने बात की है, वो तो सेकेंडरी है, वो तो his actual liking for fun movies came first, that was more fundamental, and that's not open to debate. But वो लोग ये गलती करते हैं, वो they come up with कि ये मैं चीज इसलिए करता हूँ, and फिर लोग उस पे आगे से बहस भी करते हैं। That's not what's going on. So that person probably watches funny movies
Because he likes funny movies.
he likes funny movies and he doesn't experience that kind of joy that from any of the movies. And there's no reason for that. That's how.
And there is nothing else to it.
In most cases, I would say that's how it is. Like if I like Arab food, that's because I like Arab food. It's not because it's healthy or like there's this certain thing they do right with their food that we don't get right.
Yeah.
I think this is an important lesson for all of us. We should see how we're justifying things that we like and with reasons, and we're just putting ourselves at risk of like being debated on those matters. So I think that's what that was about. Yeah.
I get it. Once again, thank you very much, Dr. Zuhaib, for joining us and sharing these valuable insights with us on all of these matters. I thank you for being with us today. Thank you very much. Goodbye.